Gentleman from Iowa seek recognition.
Mr. Chairman, I reserve a point of order on the gentleman's
from Iowa
amendment.
reserves a point of order. The gentleman from California is recognized for 5 minutes in support of his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We just heard a rather strong plea from one of my Republican colleagues about the transportation program and whether Democrats and Republicans should continue to fight about who did what, when, or didn't do it. This amendment is something that we all ought to agree to. This amendment is something that both Democrats and Republicans should be supporting. This amendment is about American jobs, not foreign jobs, not about shifting our jobs overseas, but rather about bringing those jobs back home. This amendment is about making it in America. This amendment is about no longer allowing our tax money to be spent on foreign-made equipment, but rather to allow our tax money and require that our tax money be spent on American-made equipment so that there will be American jobs. This is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. This is an all-American issue. This is about making it in America. It simply says that the current 60% requirement is insufficient and that we ought to have a higher requirement of 85%. And I will argue strongly, and I think correctly, that 85% is achievable. I'll give two examples. A recent contract for the BART new trains, Bay Area Rapid Transit trains. One bidder, a French company, Alstom, said that they could build those trains 95%. A second bidder, foreign, Bombardier, said they would do it at 66%. Unfortunately, BART decided to go with the 66% because it was a couple of percentage points cheaper. $1 billion of American jobs was lost. Within a month after that, Los Angeles wanted to build some new transit cars. Siemens said they could build those transit cars at 85% American content. They lost that bid to a Korean company because there was a couple of percentage points difference. Again, millions of American jobs, or millions of dollars spent overseas, and American jobs lost. It's time for us to bring the jobs home. It's time for us to onshore. It's time for us to make it in America, and it's time for us as Democrats and Republicans to do just that, and that's what this amendment does. I suspect it'll be ruled out of order. What a shame. What a shame that we cannot stand here on the floor, amend a bill that's going to, over time, spend $60 billion and not require that that money, our tax money, be spent in America. What's wrong with making it in America? Oh, I suppose it has to do with some point of order. Do you think the American public really wants to hear a point of order, or do they want to hear about American-made equipment and American jobs? No, we'll do a point of order, which I will appeal and probably lose, and thousands upon thousands of American jobs will be lost because of a point of order, rather than for this House to stand up and say, we're going to make it in America. We're going to spend our tax money on American jobs, on American-made equipment. So give me your point of order, and let's see what the American public has to say about your point of order. I yield back my time.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Iowa.
I would continue to reserve and strike the last word.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
I thank the chairman. You know, we had a markup this morning in appropriations, and I supported an amendment about American content, and I believe that this is probably a very, very good amendment. To be consistent, and I have raised points of orders against some things that I support today, my good friend from Ohio, other amendments that I would otherwise be supportive of if they were not breaking precedent to the rules of the House. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I insist on my point of order. And I make a point of order against the amendment because it proposes to change existing law and constitutes legislation in an appropriation bill and therefore violates Clause 2 of Rule 21. The rule states in pertinent part, an amendment to a general appropriation bill shall not be in order if changing existing law. The amendment requires a new determination. I ask for a ruling of the Chair.
Does anyone else wish to speak on the point of order? The gentleman from California.
On the point of order, I thank the Chairman for his thoughts on the issue and for his consistency. I cannot thank him. But I think I understand that we seem to operate on rules unless we don't want to operate on those rules. And I understand that the Chairman is interested in this issue and has worked as Chairman of the committee, of the subcommittee, to try to raise the level of American-made. I thank him for that. We have an opportunity here to really take this issue up and to put aside the rules and do what's good for America. This is about billions and billions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of jobs. And we ought to put it aside. Put aside the consistency and deal with American jobs. I don't know what my opportunity will be to overrule the point of order, but I'm going to do everything I possibly can to see that we have American-made jobs and we spend our tax money on American-made equipment. I do understand the Chairman's position in the bind that he's in, but sometimes consistency doesn't lead to the right result. I yield back.
Sir, does anyone else wish to be heard on the point of order? If not, the Chair is prepared to rule. As recorded in Additionalist Precedents, Volume 8, Chapter 26, Section 3, language in an appropriation bill that is subject to a point of order under Clause 2 of Rule 21, but is permitted to remain, such as by waiver in House Resolution 697, may be modified by germane amendment that does not contain additional legislation. Section 412 of the bill has been permitted to remain. The amendment by the gentleman from California would expand Section 412 to impose an additional restriction on expenditure of funds in the bill, to wit, that 85% of a certain class of goods be produced domestically. That expansion constitutes legislation. The point of order is sustained. For what purpose does the gentleman from Missouri seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, I ask to strike the last word.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.